Hello, hello. Jenny Bowling here with Pivot to Prosperity, the podcast brought to you by Pivotal Real Estate Investments, where we help our investors build wealth and income through commercial real estate that also improves communities. And today we have Alex Kingman with us. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you coming, Alex.
Thanks for
Uh,
having me, Jenny.
I am going to read your bio and then you can tell us what's not in here, okay?
Sure.
All right. Alex is the Director of Investor Relations at KGI Capital. Her company helps high income and high net worth individuals invest passively in apartment buildings so that they can reduce their tax burden, grow passive wealth, and live life on their own terms. KGI Capital invests in 20 to 100 unit distressed multifamily properties and redevelopment projects in the Southeast and Midwest. To date, they have acquired 253 multifamily units and have $30 million in assets under management. Before going full time into real estate, Alex was one of the top Airstream salespersons in the country. She is located in the San Francisco Bay Area and is a mother of two girls. Very good. Okay. So tell us where you come from and a little more about what got you where you are.
Sure. My journey started when I was a little bit younger than maybe most. I was in middle school. I was in eighth grade. We were going on a family vacation from where we live, which was San Francisco Bay Area, down to Southern California to enjoy the beach. And we had a long drive ahead of us, so I decided to bring a book. I looked at the shelf in our living room and realized I'd read them all except for one. So I said, well, I guess I'll read this one. And it happened to be um, Robert Kiyosaki's book. It wasn't Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was
Oh,
um, teaching. Oh, what was it? It was like, raising your child's financial IQ. It came with the cash flow game, which we happen to have. And so it was just on the shelf. Um, so I thought, might as well try it, I guess. I read it, and it surprisingly was a huge mindset shift for me and totally changed the trajectory of my life. After that, I decided I wanted to be an investor and be a business owner. Before that, I had thought I was just gonna, get a job, work really hard, save a lot of money, and retire early. That all changed at that on that vacation, and I had a whole new outlook on my life. So that's where it started. From there, just went into trying different investments. Invested in the stock market when I was about 16. Just kind of played around with that. Learned different aspects of business by taking different jobs to learn. Once I was out of high school, and eventually got into real estate, and started out with a small house hack with my partner, and then went from there into out of state 1 to 4 units, and then after that went bigger, and now we're looking at 20 to 100 units with heavy rehab, and we do that now.
and how old are you? Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. I am 26. I will be 27 in about 2 months, so almost 27.
Great, great. Okay. And do you have a regular job now?
This is it. I do this full
You do
time.
real estate full time? Okay.
Yep. That and take care of my my kids.
All right. Yes. And the two daughters. Yes. How old are they?
I have a 10-year-old, and then I have an 8-month-old. So yep, definitely have my hands full there.
Yes, you do. Yeah. The 10-year-old probably is kind of helpful, right?
She is actually, yeah, she's very helpful. They get along so well. It's honestly really fun to see.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, congratulations. And
Thank you.
so, yeah, that really helps you to not have to go to a job when you've got two kids, for sure. I know that. And so tell us about your first deal.
Sure. Our first deal, our very first deal was when we were 20. We my partner, actually, who's my partner in business and in life, he wanted to buy a house. And I told him I do not want to buy a house unless it's an investment. So we bought an investment house. And so what we did is we bought a 3-bed, 2-bath house that also had a studio granny unit in the back that was attached to the house. Um, it was 300 square feet with a little bathroom, and then it was also connected to the garage. And we lived in the we rented out the 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then we lived in the little studio with our daughter. We didn't have the second one yet, and we remodeled it. We took the garage and the studio and we turned it into a 2-bedroom, 1-bath unit. And that's how we got our start in the real estate space. We turned it into a duplex essentially. And then we were hooked.
So converting a garage, I got to think, taught you an awful lot about construction too, then.
It did. It did. So my partner also is a general contractor. So he has a company here in the Bay Area. Does a lot of electrical. He's an electrical contractor as well, and does a lot of electrical and a lot of remodels and that kind of thing. So it was right up our alley. But yeah, we definitely learned a lot in that time frame, and we did it all ourselves at that time. Now we probably would go a different route because we have more options and more knowledge and experience.
Right, right. Now, before that, were you ever helping him at work?
No, at the time he was an electrician, so he was actually working. And he was working for another company, so he didn't have his own company.
Yeah.
So he was doing his thing. I was doing sales. I was an Airstream travel trailers salesperson. So we kind of had our own careers going different ways.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, that's funny. Well, but so now you do some stuff together, I imagine, if you need to, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we do. We look at yeah, we'll look at deals, together and that kind of thing, make decisions, of course, have our meetings and everything
Right.
every week and make sure
Yeah.
everything's going as it should.
Well, that's good. That's good. Well, so now as far as your most recent project, what would that be?
Well, our most recent project, let's see. We have one that's open right now, so I can't say too much about that because it's a 506B.
Right.
But we
Okay.
have, yep. So I won't talk about that one, but the one before that was a 72 unit apartment building. It was very distressed, I would say. And it was in Oklahoma City area, Yukon, Oklahoma to be specific.
Okay.
Yep.
And how did that go?
So that one, it's been going really well. We're about a year in, and so we've taken our time, just found the right deals. We haven't tried to go and invest in just any deal under the sun. We're really specific about what we invest in. So it's been about a year. When we bought it, each unit needed about $30,000 worth of work. Now that's interior and exterior, but just averaged out about $30,000 each for all 72. Um, and we are almost done with the renovations now. We're just closing it up, kind of punch list items, things like that. And we have like 7 more units left, I think, that are, occupied and that kind of thing that we need to renovate. But it's looking amazing. It had those, they're called mansard roofs, but
You know it.
basically like,
Yeah.
triangle looking walls on the on the buildings, which are really ugly. So we ripped all those off.
Did
It
you?
looks much more modern. Yep, yep. So it was a big
Yay.
project.
What'd you do with
um,
them? Did you do a hip
well,
roof?
no, we just went to like straight walls, like flat walls, vertical walls, because they were on the walls, and then it had a flat roof. So we just like made them normal walls, not like shingle walls.
Yeah.
um, yeah. So for lack of a way to say that with, I'm sure my partner would have a better way to say that. I should say he probably has the right terms, but yeah, we went from walls like this to walls like this. um, so yeah, that's been really good. We started out with one property manager, and we ended up switching to another group because we kind of saw the writing on the wall. The first one was good, but then they kind of had a little bit of internal issues start to happen. And so we left before it completely, they pretty much completely liquidated their multifamily management sector. So, um, that actually didn't end up affecting us negatively because we were proactive about it. Um, and yeah, that's been the main, I guess, thing that happened that wasn't really planned for. And so far, it's gone really well.
That's great. That's great. And then you have investors in that one, do you?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. How many investors did you end up with roughly? Do you remember?
9.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
And
Well, I guess of our own, we had a couple other partners as well who brought in investors, I should
oh,
say
okay.
too.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
Was
think
that
total it was like 30, maybe 25. So
okay?
yeah.
Was that your first one property over 50 units?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Exciting. Good. Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very exciting.
And so do the other partners help very much with the operations? How do you divide that up? How'd you end up doing that?
Yeah. So I actually met the other partners through networking, and we ended up partnering up on this deal. They actually had found the deal, and then we partnered with them. So how we have it, uh, I guess, divided up is they do a lot of operations. My partner handles a lot of the renovations, and works with them on that. Um, and then
Scope and
he
schedule kind
also,
of thing? Scope
yep,
and schedule?
construction
Yep.
schedule, details if we need to. We took over, I think the main account at one point for the property and all that. So just making sure that we switched everything over, making sure that our communications with all of our vendors and everything is good. So yeah, just a lot of the construction management portion because that's obviously where his experience is. I've been doing all of the investor side of things. That's where I focus on in our company. So all the updates, all of the also just weekly asset management meetings. So yeah, we're very involved. There are 6 of us total on that team.
On the
So
management
we're
team.
all,
Yeah.
yep. So it's a good size. I wouldn't really think that more than that would be very good. It's just too many cooks in the kitchen, I think. But 6
Yeah.
is good. We've done really well altogether.
Um, and are they located there near the property?
Actually, they're in Utah. So we just have a really strong property manager there,
I see.
that we have, you know, that we have there.
Well, that's
And
good.
that's where
Yeah.
it's, I know that a lot of times there are some investors that want somebody there that's a GP member to be there near the property. Um, but we actually have, up until this point, we've mainly just found really strong property managers to work with. And then we've been able to successfully do what we need to do with that. So, there are different ways to go about it. And just because someone's not there doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad option or bad deal.
Yeah, I know there's lots of people that do it. I tend to like to be within a day's travel just because
Yeah.
I prefer that. But it's funny because a lot of people will say if you go ahead and invest further away, you'll systemize more.
Yep.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's one of the main reasons that we liked, that we kind of originally did that.
Well, that's good. That's good. Great. And then so what's your buy box? What are you looking for usually?
So typically, we have always focused on uh, properties that need a lot of work, a lot of physical work to them. So um, lots of construction needs, I guess you could say, or lots of rehabs. So we look for currently 20 to 100 unit properties that are in distress. It could be whatever kind of distress, it could be debt distress, it could be, you know, property management distress, whatever. But typically, we're focused on that physical distress. So if the property looks bad, it's probably our kind of property. Um, we look for that. We look in Florida, especially Jacksonville, Oklahoma City area, uh, the kind of Fort Worth, Texas area, and also in northern Indiana. So those are where
Okay.
we've focused in, and yeah, really just anything that's distressed, we'll look at and see if we can, provide a high enough equity multiple for our investors and see if it makes sense.
Is that the key number they're looking for is the equity multiple?
Yeah, especially for distressed, you're not going to be investing for a monthly income check, I guess you could say.
Takes a
Not that there
while.
isn't cash flow, there is, but um, typically we have our typically our investors are making money for their day-to-day lives elsewhere through a career or their businesses, and they are looking for a way to grow their wealth quickly, not necessarily for a monthly cash flow check. So they're looking for that equity multiple, a lot of them, like 2 to 3x is typically what we try to look for when we look for deals. A 2 to 3 times multiple on your initial capital, I guess you could say. So yeah, typically with these kinds of deals, you're not going to find like the same returns as like an A class building that you're investing into. So different strategies, um, different types of deals are going to, maybe work better or worse for different investor strategies.
Right. Greater appreciation though, because you're driving up the value with all the CapEx, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Right.
yeah, we were able to
Good.
buy it at a good price, force the appreciation, and then return a good total return because of that.
All right. Well, so now I'm going to ask you, is there a pivotal person or event that brought you to either where you are now or where you are going from here?
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, the pivotal time when I was a kid definitely had a big
Yes.
impact. A pivotal person, for me, I actually was in high school. I believe I was a senior in high school. I might have been a junior. Um, and at the time, I was writing a book about high school. I I guess now I'm embarrassed to say I never published it. I wrote the whole thing. It was pretty good. But I never ended up publishing it. Um, but just by chance, by luck, would have it. Of all people, Mark Victor Hansen, who's the author of Chicken Noodle Soup for the Soul series and that whole franchise, happened to come to our house because we lived uh, in basically we lived off grid. We didn't live like hermits though, like normal people off grid. Like we we had all the normal conveniences. We just lived far enough away that we didn't have utility services. So we lived off grid. He was interested in the solar aspect of our off grid property, so he came to check it out. He was interested in investing with his group, so they were trying to learn more about it. And so he ended up being at our house, and I remember just talking to him and saying, "Hey, I have a lot of ideas. Would it be okay if I just like called you sometimes and asked you questions?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course." So for the next couple of years, I would just ask him questions and talk to him and here and there, and he'd always give me good advice. And sometimes I'd follow it, and sometimes I wouldn't, unfortunately. Because I just didn't see how it made any sense sometimes. Like, oh, that seems way too simple, because I was like 17, I don't know.
And
Um,
you knew everything, right?
and I knew right. I'm like, that doesn't seem like it'll work. I'm gonna do something else. Yeah. So so the person's right in front of me telling me this, and yeah. But looking back now, I have really implemented a lot of the things that he told me, that maybe I didn't listen to at first, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. And I wish I had done it sooner. And so I think that was a pivotal moment because he really believed in me, just because I was excited about it. And he was just, his mindset was so much bigger than mine was. And so I learned a lot just by asking him questions and talking to him
Yeah.
and things
And
like that.
think bigger. Well, and it sure sounds like you need to write another book then.
Yeah, I know.
You've got access to
I
a
do.
very special guy, and then you can ask if you can credit him or maybe
Yeah.
he'll co-author or
Yeah,
whatever.
there we go.
You can find something to do, maybe do a feature in your places that you call your chicken soup corner or
There we go. I like
I'm
it.
stretching obviously, but that's fun. Yeah, that's great. And then you could develop a brand maybe, or I don't know. But then you got to
Yeah.
watch out for all the royalties but he might let you inch in on that. I don't know. See how much he really liked you.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, very good. Well, so I don't want to, push the time too much here. Why don't you tell people how they can reach you?
Sure, sure. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so if you want to reach out to me there, we can connect and chat more in the messages or whatever you want to do there. Otherwise, I have a lot of resources for passive investors at our website, and you can always set up a call with me there if you're interested in learning more about what we do. It's at www.investwithkgi.com.
Great, great. Okay, very good. Well, thank you again for coming on. I appreciate it. We're
Yeah,
we're
thanks
gonna
so
stay
much,
in touch.
Jenny.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.